It's been rumored for some time, but finally became official this week. All Elite Wrestling will make its TNT debut on Wednesday nights live for 2 hours every week from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern starting October 2nd. Plan, of course, can change, but I do plan on going live after that initial show on YouTube. We'll do a live stream for that first episode. I'm not going to do that every week, but that is the current plan. That's a big deal. That's going to be a very big night. This has been a very long time in the making. We have not seen something like this since WCW died. And you can say, well, Impact went briefly on Monday nights and they were live on Spike, and Spike had a big audience. It did, but it wasn't TNT. So we have not seen anything like this in 20 years. Whether it succeeds, whether it flops, who's to say? But right now, we're going into sort of uncharted waters here, and it's exciting. I mean, if you're a fan, I don't care what you think of the AEW roster, the people who run AEW. If you're a fan, if you're not a fan, I'm not sure how you couldn't at least be a fan of the idea of having another promotion, with some money behind it, on a major mainstream cable network, trying to establish itself. Maybe it turns out that AEW isn't for everybody, and they turn off a lot of people. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't want to see them do well and succeed and make WWE maybe even sweat a little bit. Not because they're going to lose their ass or anything. AEW is going to overtake them. That's not what I'm talking about. They are in a competition. They're in a competition for talent. That is a very real competition, if nothing else. They will continue to be in competition for free agents and talent, so there is that, and I think it's just exciting for fans. But the official announcement they put out this week, it gave no title for the show, Wednesday Night Dynamite or anything like that. That's been the rumored name for a while, after the name was trademarked. Doesn't mean it's going to be Dynamite. It could be a totally different name. But if it is Wednesday Night Dynamite, it certainly wasn't mentioned here. The first show is going to emanate from the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., which is a 20,000-seat venue that WWE has run before. You have to figure that it's going to be set up for a little bit less than that, maybe 14 or 15,000 or something like that. I don't think they're going to have any issue filling that building up pretty well, whether that means a total sellout or a near sellout. I think they're going to do fine for that first show. But they're going to be taking their act on the road every single week, just like WWE does. Every single week, they're going to be going to a different city, they're going to be going to a different building, and that will be the true test of how much interest there really is, not only in just an alternative wrestling product, but in their product, and the product that they're going to be putting out. And how much of a stomach do people have for another pro wrestling show on TV every single week? It's not going to be determined by night 1. It's going to be determined by night 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, some people have asked, well, how do you think the show's going to do on TNT that first night? And I think I said many weeks ago, I said that if they can do 500,000 viewers, I would like to think TNT would be happy with that as a starting point. And even that is not a guarantee. So all these people saying they're going to do 1 million, they're going to do 1.5 million, look, maybe I'll have egg on my face, a few days later when the numbers come in. I just find it hard to believe, no matter how much momentum it feels like they have, that on the very first night of the very first show, this show is going to do more than 1 million viewers. I think it's unrealistic to expect that right out of the gate. So even if they started at 500,000 viewers, that's a hell of a number. And then you would hope that it grows from there if people like what they see. But I think people need to temper their expectations a little bit when it comes to these numbers. Oh, they're going to do 1 million or 2 million. Because that's what Impact did when they went live on Monday nights opposite Raw. Yeah, that was one night. That was one night, and that was in 2010. Impact had 7 or 8 years of being established at that point and being on television at that point. It's a very different situation. The ticket on sale date and the pricing was not released. It will be announced on tomorrow, actually, now that I think about it. July 29th, that's Monday, that's tomorrow. So we'll have a better sense then of when tickets are going to go on sale and what they're going to be priced at. Hopefully they don't price themselves out of a potential sellout. So that's at noon Eastern. They're going to be making the announcement tomorrow across all of their social media channels. This is from the press release. I just want to read some of this here to you. This is what it said. Focused on fast-paced, high-impact competitions, AEW offers fans more athleticism along with real sports analytics. Wrestlers are also given freedom to explore their characters and highlight their athletic abilities. Introducing statistics to wrestling for the first time ever, AEW will raise the stakes for its matches and deepen fan engagement by tracking each competitor's wins and losses as wrestlers pursue championships. Their moves and damage to their opponents will also be analyzed on the air to provide insights into their winning streaks. Yeah, I read that and I said damage to their opponents. I mean, are they going to have an energy bar on screen above each person's head? You know, can I get the cheat codes for this game? I mean, I know what they mean, but just the way they phrase it, it sounds like a fucking video game. So, that's what we know so far. It is now official. This is now, I joked online, I wonder if they're still going to be selling t-shirts, because that's been the knock on them up to this point. They're not a real wrestling company. They're just a t-shirt company. Well, not anymore. You can't use that anymore. This is really happening. So what do I want to see out of this first show? Everybody's got something they want to see out of this. I'll tell you what I want to see. It's my show. I'll tell you what I want to see. I would like to see a clear vision of where they're going. That's what I want to see. When that first show is over, I want to have a sense of where they're going. I want a good mix of styles to showcase what people can expect every week when they tune in for this show. And on some of the shows they've done so far, I think they've done a pretty good job of that. Even going back, Double or Nothing, you get some lucha, you get some hardcore brawling, you get some great technical wrestling, you get a little bit of comedy. They've showcased a little bit of everything up to this point. And I think they need to continue to do that. I also want that one big match or that one big angle at the very end that's going to get me hooked and make me want to come back and watch again the following week. Like any good TV pilot. This is their TV pilot. You've got to hook people somehow. I don't know how, if it could be as good as the little twist at the end of the pilot for The Shield, which is still one of my top 3 all-time favorite TV shows. But if they can pull that off on night 1, I think they have a very good chance of blowing this thing up. In a good way.